family? Welcome to the Harambe table. We're still here in St. Lucia. We are in Rodney Bay at the Blue St. Lucia Hotel, and I have a phenomenal young lady here with me. You have heard me play her music on the radio. You have seen us support her videos, and we told you when we come down we're going to try to talk to her and get her on film. So now we got her. She doesn't have a guitar with her, but we let her pass on that one. But you know, she's a nurse. She does a lot of things on the island, and her music is about upliftment. As you know that already, if you haven't heard her music. So I'm going to introduce you to Sister Naomi Grandison, and she's going to talk a little bit about herself and why she does what she does with me, because she does have a choice to do other stuff. We all have that choice, but she's doing this with her music, and as long as she keeps doing this, we at Umoja, House of Umoja, are going to support her 1,000% because we love what she's doing. So, welcome to House of Umoja, the Harambe table, which stands for Let Us All Pull Together.
Harambe, I love that.
Yeah, that's what it stands for. Harambe stands for Let's All Pull Together.
Awesome. Let us all pull together.
Yep.
Nice. Well, I'm really happy to be here. It is a pleasure, and I feel honored as always when you come down on the island and you get the artists and so many different artists to come in. Well, you know, my name is Naomi Grandison. I'm affectionately known as Ngozi also.
Ngozi!
So, well, pretty much from the time I knew myself, I think my earliest memory, probably 5, 6, I love to sing. I just love singing.
5'1".
Really, really short. And I'm still short. So I really love to sing, and I love the reggae. I love Whitney Houston, and I love the soul music back in the day. And I was part of the choir in primary school.
Okay.
And then I kind of I went into secondary school and kind of lost sight of the whole singing thing until I went into community college, and I started doing a lot of freestyling with my friends, writing poetries, and kept it within my little circle privately. So, yes. So it was a teacher. I used to teach, by the way, at primary school.
You were a teacher?
Yes, I was a teacher.
Teaching what? What did you teach?
Everything to the young students, from social studies to language to mathematics.
Can you see that as a teacher?
Yes, so I was a teacher at a primary school and infant, because you know here we have the infant and primary one. So yes, I was a teacher, and there was a musician, a keyboard player, pianist, Oswin James, who kind of encouraged me to come to sing with him. Yeah. So I started really the whole idea of performing with him.
Okay.
I didn't stay too long with that because I went into nursing school, and school was kind of taking over my time. So
this all happened before you became a nurse then?
Yeah. I mean, I started singing. I mean, from the time I was young, but in terms of performing, a bit performance with Oswin, and then it kind of stopped because of school. And after nursing school is when I linked up with Ken Hardy and the Soul Dreads.
Okay.
Yes, through Oswin, he saw me performing, and years later we kind of
Ken Hardy was almost made to our event.
Yes, I know. Yeah, he kind of saw me in town, and he kind of remembered me from the event, and he said he's doing some stuff with poets, and you know, he's trying to do original music, and you know, why don't I come by? And that's pretty much how it started. The support or the environment of authentic music, your original music. He created that kind of environment, and I mean, he has kind of helped a lot of us who work sort of like hidden artists to come out of our shell, you know. So we that was like back in 2007. Yeah, back in 2007, and yeah, thereabouts. And
so you said something just now. I'm listening to I listen to people. You said that there's a point where you stop.
Yes.
Was it because you were frustrated, or what made you stop?
Oh, at secondary school, I kind of stopped because something happened in the choir. At the time, I felt like there was somewhat of a bit of a discrimination thing happening, and I have this little thing in me that's like really anti-discrimination. So I was like a little bit rebellious. So I'm like, okay, I'm not doing this anymore. So I had that thing that happened, and other reasons why I had stopped earlier on was because of school and the whole idea of basically family and society pushing academics. And I think I too didn't really accept okay, that I really wanted to do this seriously at the time. I really did not accept it as
It was a hobby.
it was like a hobby kind of thing. So it was really something significant happened to me in my life. Okay, after nursing school, I got pregnant with my partner, and I went to New York because I have family in New York, and got treatment there, and I lost the baby. I almost lost my life, and something happened. Something happened, and I really felt a voice inside of me, and the experience of the loss of my baby. Something was telling me that I need to sing more. I need to sing more. And previously to that, my cousin Sodi was always telling me I need to sing more. And I was up there. I had some free time recovering from everything, operation and everything. So I just started singing and singing and singing. And
That's almost your therapy.
Yes, and I almost felt like her voice was, my voice had doubled. Like I got my baby's voice. I'm serious, because before her and after her, my voice just seemed more powerful. More, yes, it just seemed, and it's not like I did any actual training at that time. Although while I was a teacher, I did go to vocal classes. I did take on some vocal classes at the School of Music.
Wow.
Yes.
I mean, the reason I asked you that because, I always tell people, what we go through is not only for us. There's someone else going through it, and Spirit has blessed you and strengthened you so you can make it through, so that way you could go back and help someone. But there's a lot of young people who feel they can't make it.
It's true.
And when they hear your story, you want somebody to say, wow, that's me. And she made it, I can make it. Yeah. And it's just that we always have to remember that our journey is not only for us.
It's true.
It always touches somebody else.
It's really so very important. That's why I'm like, okay, I need to speak as much as possible now. Now I'm going to try my best whenever I have an opportunity to speak and to sing in the presence of persons who are positive, obviously. That I'm going to do it because I've come from very humble beginnings. I mean, I grew up in Sufre in an extended family. I've gone through a lot as a child, felt rejected because my family sent me up for adoption at 7. Really all in an attempt to help me because they saw that I was a bright little girl and opportunities in the States with a distant relative. But for me, that experience felt more like a rejection as a child. Right. So it really scarred me, and to add insult to injury thereafter, I had some problems with my adoptive parents. They were having issues themselves.
Okay, so it trickled over to you.
Yes, and I was sent back to my biological family alone on a plane.
Wow.
At 8 years old. And so it really scarred me, and it affected me, and it also affected my family. They were very disappointed because they're full of a lot of love, and they did the best they could, were doing the best they could, and thinking that I would have gotten a better opportunity. And this person, for some reason, dealing with the frustration of my pain, and I guess I was crying a lot, and a lot of other things happening, instead of being patient, decided to send me to my family very impulsively, and felt somehow she could just come back and collect me whenever she decided. So my family wasn't having it, so I stayed with my biological family, and eventually met my father at about 15 years old, because I didn't know who my biological father was. So I met him, not 100% through his fault in terms of him not knowing. There was some issues with him and my mom and so on. So that all got cleared up when I was 15. So I met my biological father.
So how did that feel when you met your biological dad? Because you went through all this stuff, and all of a sudden at age 15, you're a teenager now.
Right.
And here this man now, you find is your father. How did that feel? Because, and the reason I'm asking that because I listen to your music.
Right.
And most of the songs are beautiful and breeze. I mean, I listen to those 2 songs, I'm like, those songs are so powerful. It seems like you are singing from your heart, deep down in your heart, and you're bringing stuff out.
It's true. There's always a background to everybody's life.
Yeah.
And oftentimes people look at a musician, a singer, an artist, and they are amazed by their work. But there's always a story, a deep story as to it didn't just come out. It came from someplace very deep, and I can't even explain the feeling that I have. I was overwhelmed, I was emotional, and I was guarded at the same time.
That sounds about reasonable.
Yeah, that's
You're
what.
excited this person, but then like, why this person wasn't here before me for the last 15 years?
Exactly. Yeah, and it's an interesting. I feel like I feel okay to share it because I think somebody might be going through something out there. My father is pretty open about this the situation himself.
So how's the relationship between your dad and you now?
Oh, my father and I are cool. We're cool.
I mean, I'm asking you because, like I said, there's so many people going through stuff, and we just need to really help some of our young people.
Yeah.
A lot of them need help, as you see here in St. Lucia and all over the world.
It's true.
And those of us who have made it, like I tell people, I tell people, I mean, both my parents, I'm born in Lucia, and I said, but my dad was an abusive alcoholic.
Right.
So, and I guess maybe his family don't like me saying that, but it's a reality. It's a reality.
And it helps others to hear.
Even when AJ said he's from Marsha, I said, really? I said, I'm from Marsha, but I'm from Marsha in the 60s. Right? So, I said, I know it's not the same, but the whole fact is, like, there's little boys and girls in Marsha who probably think nothing ever come out of good out of Marsha.
Out of Marsha, which is so not true.
Right, so if they see me and they say, well, Mr. Herman came out of Marsha.
Exactly.
And look what he's doing. It's
exactly.
Like, if he could do it, I could do it too.
I'm happy you said that because recently I had the opportunity to be on Choice, an interview on Choice. That's the medical show called Pulse with Dr. Matthew, and we were talking about my upbringing, and I spoke like really proudly about Soufrière, Market Road Soufrière. Of late, I grew up in Market Road, and it was such a sort of like supportive place to grow up. I mean, there were always issues on the outskirts with drugs and everything in the community, but doors were kept wide open, and of late there's so much violence and tension happening close to the vicinity and within the community itself. And it's always good when the news comes out and people start labeling the community. I felt a responsibility to let everybody know this is where I'm from. This is where I'm from, and I would not have been the kind of person that I am and the quality of artist that I am had I not been from that community, had I not been from that family in that community, had I not had the upbringing of the neighborhood vibe that was created in the community. So, and oftentimes in our myopic thinking, people somehow believe that where you're from dictates who you're going to be, and that is not true. I mean, there are circumstances that will be limiting, but it is not true. And a lot of the times, the so-called low socioeconomic areas or ghetto areas, there are so many quality families living there, and there are a few families that are unstable, but there are a lot of quality people and families with high standards and quality who live within these communities. So it is unfortunate that they too need to be labeled, and I really like to try my best to dispel that kind of belief. Also, I can't even remember where we were. We were talking about my dad. We were talking about my.
No, that's good. This is the Harambe table stands for let us all pull together.
Right.
And as we pull together, we see we have so many things in common with each other.
Exactly.
The challenges. Because I don't want anyone to think that Ed Herman and Brother Umoja come back to St. Lucia and he's doing all this stuff and so. No, my humble beginnings, I started in Marsha with my grandparents.
Exactly.
I remember going up to Bishop Gap. I remember all that stuff. I remember going to my grandfather worked for Bishop Gautier at the time. So I remember all this. I remember walking up and down to getting water at the water pipe. See, so I let people know my humble beginnings. Don't think I was born and no. I remember all that stuff. So I say where I'm from because I want those little boys and girls in Marsha, in St. Lucia, and the Marshas all over the world to know that where you are is not where you have to stay. So you saying that there's a little girl who cannot identify with me because I'm a male, but they can identify with you because you're a girl, a woman, and they can say, wow, she's doing music, she's doing, look where she came from.
Right.
She came from Super Red, wow. And then, man, if she could do that, I could do it too.
Right, exactly.
And that's a passion for me because some of our children don't have nothing.
Nothing at all.
And when look at this, people say about you're a leader, and some people look up to you, idolize you. In an ideal world, we wouldn't want that to happen. We want them to, look up to your parents.
Right.
But some of them don't have that.
They don't have that.
So they look for stuff. They look for something to hold on to. And if I could be that person who they could hold on to for the next year, 2 years to motivate them to go to the next level, then so be it.
Yeah.
And it's not saying I'm good. It's just like I just didn't give up. I just didn't give up. No matter what you say to me, I refuse to take no as an answer. The no just means I go to somebody else.
Right.
That's what it means.
That's
So I'm
what it
glad you're
means.
saying that. And when we come back, we're gonna talk more. I told you it's gonna be good. I told you this was gonna be good, right? It was about music. We're gonna come back. We're gonna talk more to Sister Naomi. And we're gonna talk a lot. We're gonna talk about her music, a lot, because this is very important that we show you all what St. Lucia has to offer. St. Lucia is just a small island, but it's a reflection of the world, the planet we live on. We have the best of the best, and we have stuff that's very challenging in St. Lucia, just like other countries have. And what you're looking at, someone who's the best of the best. When you see her videos that we're going to embed into this story, you understand where I'm coming from there. So stick around. This is Brother Umoja, Sister Naomi Grandison at the Harambe table, live at the Blue St. Lucia Hotel in Rodney Bay, St. Lucia.
When I was just a little girl, I used to watch the TV and see Whitney and felt that it could be me. There was a song in my heart, it grew like a spark, but it flickered every time. They told me I was blind, trying to keep my dream behind. They told me you should be a doctor, pursuing music is a danger, but I won't listen to the naysayers, 'cause I'm a dream maker. I'm a push, break through the walls. Push, gonna stand tall. Push, head over the hill. No matter what comes at me, I'm gonna find the victory. Push, break through the walls. Push, gonna stand tall. Push, head over the hill. No matter what comes at me, I'm gonna find the victory. It's no easy journey, staying true to the me, deep within, achieving my dream. No. They say I'm chasing a rainbow, stuck in a fantasy. They say don't give up, be practical, be logical. But I got this fire, so consumed by the faith and the visions of my destiny. I'm a push, break through the walls. Push, gonna stand tall. Push, head over the hill. No matter what comes at me, I'm gonna find a victory. Push, break through the walls. Push, gonna stand tall. Push, head over the hill. No matter what comes at me, I'm gonna find a victory. Victory.
No matter what,
Victory.
till the death of me, I'ma fight victory. Yeah. Promise I'ma never stop until the sky fall. Never give up till I put holes through the drywall. Promise I'ma be a meteor. I'ma walk on water, bruh, never be inferior. Let them talk, they talk, everything they say gon' make me stronger. I came, I saw, I struggled, I cried, and now I'm about to conquer. Genghis Khan, how strong's the foundation I am standing on? Who do they really think I am depending on? A star is born, shining for a moment, now they want me gone. I see it, I achieve it, now they cannot believe it. They act like they were around when my pain needed relieving. That's the reason.
Push, break through the walls.
That's the reason.
Push, gonna stand tall.
That's the reason.
Push, head over the hill. No matter what comes at me, I'm gonna find a victory. Push, break through the walls. Push, gonna stand tall. Push, head over the hill. No matter what comes at me, I'm gonna find a victory. Victory.
Yep. And so I hope you like that video we just showed you. Great video, right? Well, we're going to talk to Sister Naomi Grandison about the music, about her music and what she's doing with it, and about where she's from. So it's very interesting. As you all know, I always tell you, I don't know the South of the island that well.
Right.
So to hear her talk about the South, she's teaching me right now. I like it. She's a nurse. She's teaching. You know, my mom was a nurse, right? So you'll know that's very special to me right there. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about Soufriere and why did you go back to Soufriere? Why? I mean, some people leave home and never go back.
It's true.
But you went back. Like me, I come back from the States. I come into St. Lucia because I was born here. I'm very passionate about St. Lucia, and you do the same thing in your music. So let's talk about it. Why did you go back? Because you could have said you could stay in Castries, you could stay in Rodney Bay, but you go home.
Right. Wow. Because that's where I'm from, and I feel a connection to Soufriere. I mean, I think that's the simplest answer, and I think I want Soufriere to be highlighted in a positive way. And I believe Soufriere is like the gem of St. Lucia. Deep in my heart, I seriously believe that Soufriere is the gem of St. Lucia.
Now, what makes you say? I mean, I know they have the Sulphur Springs, they have the pitons and stuff. Well, one of the pitons.
We could argue that both of them are somewhere in Soufriere. I'm screaming out and saying that.
Okay. I don't know the South that well.
I mean, for all these reasons, we have the pitons, Sulphur Springs, and everything else. And I think the topography of Soufriere, there's something very spiritual about Soufriere. And there's also a little bit of darkness too there. So I felt that knowing that I am into spirituality and positivity and so on, I wanted to bring a little bit of light also. Because sometimes we're in the pot of gold and we don't realize it, and there may be people in Soufriere who don't realize how great Soufriere is. And I myself, there were times when I was younger and I dreaded going down to Soufriere, because it's like mainly because of the bus ride, and whatever. But ideally I want persons, even if I'm not living in Soufriere, to know that where they are and what Soufriere was the first capital of St. Lucia. Okay.
No, I heard that. That's true?
Yeah, Soufriere was the first capital of St. Lucia.
I heard that, but I wasn't sure that was true.
Right, and a lot of significant persons who have been part of high ministries and lawyers and so on are usually come from Soufriere, and there's a lot of brain drain that has happened because there's not enough employment to sustain a lot of the families and people who come from Soufriere.
Now, what's the main? Is it alpha culture? The main thing down there? What brings people to Soufriere other than the Sulphur Springs and the pitons? What do the people live on? Is it more alpha culture based down there than it's tourism based?
Well, I can't say that I can answer that 100% correctly, but I'll just say from my own experience. I think right now it's highly tourist based because most persons are employed via the hotels and the restaurants in Soufriere. When I did grow up, there were a lot of fishermen, and on the outs, because I grew up in the town, so I'm not really a South country girl. I'm more of a South town girl.
South town.
It's
She's a
kind of
South
strange.
town girl.
So I grew up in the town, but persons from the outskirts like Fort Jacques and so on, most of them is really the agriculture that will keep them. And we know that there are a lot of other things people are involved in too. There's also the other negative end, like the drug trade and so on.
They're going between Soufriere, I guess, St. Vincent.
There's marijuana and the whole host of other things. However, most persons, I would say, is the hotel industry, the tourism industry, and the Soufriere Foundation through it's employed a lot of people, the Soufriere Foundation.
The reason I'm asking is because one of my goals this year with the theme song is to actually shoot the video in Soufriere.
Right.
And so we've been talking to Orlando, and Chloe Evans just called me about that because I personally want to do it because I don't know the South that well.
Great, I love that.
And I want to show the South of the island because I don't want people to think that Pitons International Film Festival is just based in the North.
Right.
It's supposed to be for the whole island. It's supposed to bring people from all over the world to see St. Lucia, not just the northern part, but the whole thing. But I cannot accomplish that because I'm not familiar with the South. Right. So one of the things I'm saying there, let's shoot the video in the South. let's show people, and I could learn at the same time.
Right.
And then that way we talk to the business people and what can we do on the film side, in the business of film in Soufriere, 'cause I don't know.
Right. I like this idea and I'm in full support of it. It's so interesting because when I was doing my video, the Edeno song,
I love that one. Gotta
Yes.
check that out.
right, I was so happy that I was being sponsored by the Soufriere Foundation. I was so happy that I was able to shoot it in Soufriere. And I chose areas that meant something to me because growing up in Soufriere town, the life was the sea. I lived very close to the sea, so we all knew how to swim.
So you know how to swim. I was about to say, so you know how to swim, right? You're a
If
fish.
you didn't know how to swim,
You're a mermaid,
you
huh?
would get jokes. If you
She's
couldn't
a
swim.
mermaid.
So, and I even learned how to dive into the water. I literally, because the girls don't always do that, the guys are the ones, but I literally made the guys teach me how to do that. We would be under the jetty, like trying to touch the base of the sea, swimming under the boats.
So wait. So you know how to swim so well. So when's the video, the next song when you're gonna be doing in the water?
Oh my God. Oh, he's putting ideas in my mind
Hey.
now.
You can swim. Look, you're 5'1", kissed by the sun, got locks, a little pot belly, like this. So let's see. The next thing is that you can jump into the water like the guys. I think her next video should have her in the water.
Well, that sounds like an idea. Never know what's gonna happen there. So, yeah, I think that was one of the nicest aspects of growing up in Soufriere, the sea and the sort of like the community vibe, the feeling safe. You really felt safe in Soufriere. I mean, nowhere was too far. You could just walk to the Sulphur Springs, walk to Diamond Falls, walk to Foster Jacques, walk to get bread.
I forgot about Diamond Falls, and it shot Superman 2 shot a piece
Yes,
when he flies down and get the flower
That's
from Wolf.
correct.
Right.
Yeah.
See? Superman 2 was there.
Yeah, and they've shot a lot of movies in Soufriere, like Casablanca, I believe, was
really?
shot in Soufriere. Scenes were shot in Soufriere. There have been other, I can't remember all of them,
Okay.
but I remember seeing the whole set by the Soufriere Square and the filmmakers set up and everything. Growing
See,
up.
so I didn't know all that, but based on what you're saying, what the Piton International Film Festival is not something new.
It's not.
It's
I
not
mean,
something
there
new.
have been international persons
Right.
because there is, as I said, and I shall repeat for the Soufriere
repeat it.
is the gem of Saint Lucia.
You hear that?
And I mean, it's not. I'm not saying that because I'm from Soufriere. I'm saying it because it's a fact. You know, it is because there is what makes the island unique. Is in part of it, most of it is in Soufriere, and we have the only driving volcano, and we have the Diamond Falls, and we have even the soil in Fosse-Jacques.
And you have Orlando's.
And we have Orlando.
Oh, Orlando's there.
I'm
Goes
sure
right
we are
there.
plugging for Orlando. I love that. And you know it. And we have very interesting people. We do have quite a few challenges. I don't want to just paint a perfect picture. There are some social issues.
We all have that. That's one thing. You know, every place has social challenges.
Right. Exactly.
But the thing is to rise above that.
Right,
And
right.
that's what you're talking about, because anyone who's watching this, anyone who watches television, you know, every place has challenges. Anywhere in the world has challenges.
Right.
So, but the thing is not to let the challenges be your highlight.
Exactly.
Let's minimize that. Let's bring some positive stuff up.
Positivity.
Yeah.
Positivity. That's what it's all about. And I really wrote that song reflecting because I work in rehabilitation, alcohol and drug rehabilitation as a registered nurse, and I like the field because I always like teaching and the psychological aspect of nursing, because as a nurse we are taught to take on different roles.
Okay.
The primary role of a nurse is a caregiver.
Right.
But for you to be able to give care, you need to take on several roles as the
Speak about it.
yeah, as a nurse.
Danny, my mom was a nurse. So
Right. When we were educated, we had to know specifically the roles of a nurse is. So you have the role as an educator,
Okay.
you have the role as a counselor, educator, teacher, right? You have the role of an advocate,
Okay.
to advocate for
For
the
your
client,
patient,
for the patient, and the caregiving aspect of giving care and so on. And the aim of nursing is really to promote health,
Right.
to prevent illness, restore somebody back to health,
No.
or to facilitate coping.
Right.
So for me, I always love the prevention aspect and the facilitating coping aspect of nursing.
So what school did you go to? Did you went to UE?
No, I did my nursing at Sarah Lewis actually.
Oh really?
Yes,
Okay.
I did my nursing at Sarah Lewis, and then I did a course in Tobago in addiction studies. Yes, but I did my stuff down here. I think what it is though with me is that I read a lot. I read a lot about
That's good.
not just nursing but psychological stuff, about spiritual stuff. I speak to a variety of people on issues, particularly about emotional well-being, health and nutrition. So you find that a lot of my knowledge base, a lot of it is self-taught in a way, apart from school. So at school, which was 3 years at SAFA, 3 years, 3 semesters, very challenging and life-changing.
Wow. 3 years, 3 semesters.
3 years, 3
So it was
semesters.
accelerated then.
Oh yes, 3 years, 3 semesters, and very challenging. And as I said, I got my eyes and my mind and my soul
Open up.
to a lot of things because you see the other side of life. So I mean, people. I value St. Lucia. I got my education here. A lot of people ask me, "What did you study?" I always wonder why they ask me that because I guess maybe the way I speak.
No, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
I just want to know because I asked the question because I want people to hear that I knew you were Caribbean based, and I want people to understand that St. Lucia is known for beautiful beaches, nice hotels, and stuff like that. And I always tell people when I come home, I don't come home to be a visitor. Because the people who serve us at the hotels, after they finish serving us, they gotta go home and take care of their families.
Exactly.
The people who do the stuff on the beaches, they gotta go home and take care of their families. So they give us this great service. But when they leave, they have to go home now and do it for themselves, for their families.
Right.
And I always think about that, like, what can I do to help when I come home? And that's why the P12 Film Festival, the Grandmaster Camp Poetry and Art Jam, all these things, Sisters in Harmony, all this is very personal to me. And that's why, in Sisters in Harmony, the membership is for women only, and that's in memory of my mom who was buried here. As a single mom, and I had, like I said, abusive alcoholic dad and stuff like that. So I just want people to know that they can do it. Those little boys and those little girls out there who are fighting and who are seeing their parents fighting, who are struggling, if they could look at me and say, this Mr. Herman came from the same place I came from, and look at him now. I had a mother who didn't give up. I have a mom, a real Lucia mother. And she was like you. My mom was 5 feet. You 5'1". My mom was 5 feet.
My mother is like 5 feet.
So, that was very powerful for me to grow up in a home with a mother like that.
Right.
And as a man, it was just not to disappoint her. So when drugs came around, I was first scared as heck of my mom would beat the heck out of me. I was 6 feet, she was 5 feet. She was like, for me, my mom was like maybe 20 feet tall.
Right.
So, and then this idea of disappointing her. I went to college, got my degree. I worked for the space program. So all that stuff, and it just made me push myself to be better.
Right.
Because I know my mom grew up not having as much as I had, and she really worked hard for us. 3 boys and a girl. She worked really hard to make sure that we had better. So as I hear you talk about that, and where you come from, I'm from Marshall, you from Soufriere and stuff like that. Even though we're different parts of the island, we still had challenges that we came out of. And so I just want the young people who are listening right now, who are in Marshall, who are in the Soufriere now, don't give up. Don't give up. It's just like, if you do what you do, we're going to do what we can do as elders to give you a better opportunity than we have. And we have to remember that. That's why PIP is so personal for me.
Right.
Because I could see a multi-billion-dollar industry coming here and teaching, letting young people who like to write know they could write and make a good living.
Right.
Who want to be a carpenter, show them how to build a set. Who want to be a plumber, who want to be an electrician, show them all those things that happen behind the camera that they could actually make a living. Musicians, they need music in movies. Every movie has music.
Exactly.
Show them that it's not a hobby. This could actually be, and we can do it. I refuse to believe we cannot do it. I will not. And so as I think about it, like, wow, what can we do on the island? And if the government don't want to come on, so be it. I don't need the government. I have the people. we move with the people. Let the people are the government eventually.
Exactly.
And that's why when I'm talking to you is important to me that I speak to you, because you live here. And when people see this interview and see your music, it's gonna go all over the world. And people say, if this is the quality of the people in St. Lucia, I want to go and check this out for myself.
Right.
And that's all I want to do, is give them a bird's eye view to St. Lucia, so that way they will want to come and see what's more in St. Lucia, so they can hear your music, they can see what you're doing. You're a nurse, you do this, you do that. And say, wow, we didn't know that. We just went there one time and we were on the beach all day in the hotel. We didn't see all this. But it's not part of St. Lucia.
Right.
The people that keeps it simply beautiful. It's important stuff like that. So let's take a break, and we're gonna come back, and yes, we don't talk about her music, more about her music. But I like this conversation because I want you. This is a Harambe table. Let us all pull together, and we're not gonna pull on your music. We're gonna pull as human beings helping one another. So stick around. We at the Blue St. Lucia Hotel in Rodney Bay, St. Lucia, which is our host hotel. And when you come back, we're gonna put a video in. You're gonna enjoy more of her music. And we're gonna have some fun talking to the nurse, the singer, the writer, the smiling lady, the 5'1" foot, kissed by the sun, Sister Naomi Grandison. We'll be right back.
Well, everything about me is beautiful, both inner and outer, because I love myself.
Well, I think I'm beautiful because God made me that way and He's the best. So I say that I am beautiful in my own way.
I think we're beautiful, don't you think? I think you are. I know I am. So beautiful, so beautiful, just like the stars.
Nappy Hill, 5'1", I'm brown skin, I've been kissed by the sun. Round face, acne, curl waist and a pot belly, but I know I'm beautiful, beautiful. I know I'm beautiful, beautiful. I know I'm beautiful, beautiful. I know I'm beautiful. Maybe short, but mighty, like Mother Teresa or Mahatma Gandhi. My face not made up, not many pedicured. I haven't had the time, and I don't care, 'cause I know I'm beautiful, beautiful. I know I'm beautiful, beautiful. I know I'm beautiful, beautiful. I know I'm beautiful.
Look at yourself, appreciate who you are, 'cause you are beauty and you are full. Designed by the Creator with no mistakes. So beautiful, so beautiful. You may not be perfect in the eyes of the world, but you are surely perfect in His eyes.
Nouvelle Jolie. Nous toutes belles, jolies. My history is beautiful. My skin is so beautiful. My hair is so beautiful. My creation
think?
We are back, and we're having a good time talking to Sister Naomi Grandison. Great musician, but what makes her music so great is she's a phenomenal woman. And as yesterday was, day before yesterday was Mother's Day, and if you're a woman, you're a mother, either biologically or spiritually to the community. So it's good to have her sitting here with us. And we're going to talk about Sunday, Mother's Day.
Yes.
Something very interesting happened to her during the concert. We're going to get into that. As a musician, listening to another musician. So let's talk about what happened Sunday at the park with you.
Wow. On Sunday it was really special for me because I came with my better half or other half, my partner and my mom, and I chilled with my family. And I had this experience while listening to Jimmy Cliff. I think lately I had been kind of struggling internally with my artistic self. Like I have all this inside of me that I want to get out.
Okay.
And sometimes I feel restrained. Sometimes
Like a pullback?
Like a pullback, and sometimes I feel like I cannot really express myself on the level that I would like to in terms of on the big stages and so on. And partly because there are a lot of limitations sometimes when you're trying to do something good or you have a talent. There's a lot of stuff that you have to push through and pull through, like the song says. It takes a lot of determination, and I was just observing Jimmy Cliff's performance and listening to him, and it had been a while I hadn't come to tears listening to a musician. And when he started singing Many Rivers to Cross.
Oh wow, that's a powerful song. I love that song.
Yes, when he started, and tears just kind of came to my eyes, and it's almost like he was speaking to the creative in me.
He saw you in the audience, thousands of his
I was like,
sister,
way
and
to the
this is
back.
for you. You hear?
Way to the back, and to be honest, I wouldn't say I'm a huge Jimmy Cliff fan. I came to the show just open and loving the vibe, and now I'm like a huge fan, and I'm really listening to his music and the consciousness in his music, and somehow I feel a personal connection with the messages that he's putting out, because it's so similar to what I put out myself. So I felt rejuvenated in a sense. I felt spoken to, like a divine force was speaking to me and telling me, you know what, keep pushing and don't slow down. Don't slow down. Do as much as you can with the energy that you have. Don't slow down and don't accept mediocrity. Because I will be honest, I'm kind of at a point where I really want to sort of like raise the standard and the bar of how artists are treated, maybe worldwide, but especially some of the experiences that I've had. I would like artists to be treated with more respect and in a more professional and business way, and I think it has to start with us, the artists.
Yeah, that's what I said. The artists have to look at themselves from that level also, because if you look at themselves from that perspective, then people will look at you from that perspective.
Right. So it has to start with us, and sometimes we like to blame other people and circumstances, but we first have to change our approach to our business persons, and we need to know what we're going to accept and what we're not going to accept. And I personally, I would prefer to work with, it's not about the money, it's about the regard. I firmly believe in being regarded as a human being and as an artist, being regarded and respected for who I am and the quality that I bring across, because I try no matter what, no matter where, to put my best foot forward, no matter what the limitations are. That's me.
I'm laughing because I'm thinking about the video you have on Beautiful, and the one where you do the kids. At the beginning of the video, the kids don't know why they feel they're beautiful. And and it's, even though it's for a music video, when they're talking, you can say, this is talking about life.
Exactly.
This is my life. I was like, wow. So as you were talking about, I listened about those little girls at the beginning of the video. That's why I was like, they were just flashing through my head as you were talking. Why do you think you're beautiful? I'm beautiful because. And I like that part of the video. Even though I like it because It actually gives our children an opportunity to think and to speak
Right.
what they're feeling.
What they are feeling, and to look at themselves differently.
Mm-hmm.
Because growing up, I had the tendency to look down at myself
Mm-hmm.
for whatever reason, for so many negative messages you have coming at
Oh,
you.
boy.
But you really need to protect your mind, and this is a message I want to leave out with the young persons. The idle mind tends to gravitate towards negativity,
Mm-hmm.
and we really have to actively practice positive
Mm-hmm.
thinking, like a garden. You need to water your mind, plant flowers in your mind of positivity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't just leave your mind to linger
Right.
idly and think that positive will just come all the time.
Right, right.
You are open to both negative forces and you have to embrace the
The
one
yin
that
and
you
yang.
want.
Yeah, right. Mhm.
You have to embrace the one that you want to nurture more within yourself and accept all of you, yes,
Mm-hmm.
both the negative and the positive, but at the same time decide which one you're going to let guide your
Right,
life.
which one's gonna maximize you?
Right, which
Maximize
one
you.
maximize your experience. So actively lift up yourself, because you're not going to miss out on persons and people putting you down. That's gonna happen. So you have to
Trust me, they will show up.
yeah, so why be your worst enemy too?
Right, mhm,
You know,
that's true.
you will always have people against you and circumstances against you, or it may seem like it's against you. So you have to make the balance, to create the negative positive balance.
Yeah,
You need to
you have to do it yourself.
build yourself up.
If you don't love yourself, no one's gonna love you more than you love yourself.
That's right, and you need to be careful who you spend time with.
Yeah.
I am becoming more and more conscious of how much time I spend with whom I spend the time, because I'm a very sensitive person.
You no way.
Yeah. And you know, I really believe the more positive people I'm around, the better it is for
Oh, yeah,
me. Because
definitely.
when I'm starting to get into a slump, I have a positive person to help me. You know, and when they're in a slump, because of my principle, I can help them. So
Right, right.
I don't wanna be around persons who really try to suck your energy, unless of course they're not well. Like I'm doing that type of work already, where I'm already trying to encourage
The people,
persons, and
right.
they're not well.
Right.
So I need to be around people who can nurture.
Yeah, because after you leave that, you gotta say, "Woo," you gotta go take a shower, get the energy off you. And
It's draining.
yeah, it is.
It's draining,
It is.
and they need persons who have enough positivity to encourage them.
Right, right.
And you yourself, you need positive people to encourage you,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you've been giving so much energy out to persons who are not well, and who eventually will give you back positive energy as they become better and better.
Oh yeah, and that's very true. I like you said. I like the way you said that.
Yeah, so I really love. I mean, I have my ups and downs emotionally. I've gone through ups and downs. I've struggled with depression myself, even as a child. In my older age, I've gone through a lot. So I can personally identify people going through emotional challenges. I mean, personally with family and so on. I can personally identify with friends and people, like listening to their stories and some of the things I've gone through, some of the things my family members, my friends have gone through both emotionally, psychologically, and physically. And I feel a connection to people's pain on a certain level, and I feel a connection to, I think sometimes too much more of their pain, maybe because I care on a certain level, and sometimes
Well, people like dropping their pain on you,
yes,
and that's so you feel that more because if you leave yourself open, most of what you do for a living, people drop that pain on you,
Right,
and you have to be very conscious of
Very.
to actually give yourself some time to exhale and get rid
It's
of it.
true, it's
Because then it's going to
affect. Yeah, so here goes the challenge as an artist and doing the type of work that I do. It comes with its challenges, and and there you have to be somewhat very conscious. And I've come a very long way in terms of knowing how to balance that out.
Good.
Yeah, I've come a very long way, and I think I'm at a point where I kind of get it. I'm getting it, you know. I'm kind of.
Well, I'm glad you're saying that because once
Yeah.
again, for the young people who are watching this, they might think no one else is going through what they're going through, but
Yeah.
they hear you saying this and saying, "I went through this, and I'm on the other side, and this is what I did."
Right.
Letting you know that you can make it. That speaks volumes and volumes to the young people because a lot of these young people have no
Nobody to talk to them.
and that's so. It's like really. I guess because when I was growing, we always had someone to talk to.
Always had somebody to talk, and sometimes they were talking. We felt they were talking too much, but at least they were talking.
At least they were talking.
And even with all the talking they did, we still had so much to work through. So far less if they were not there. My family was always trying and speaking and encouraging us to the best of their ability, and that doesn't take away the fact that I had my own personal struggle, because that's what life is.
Right.
So you can imagine these young persons who do not have anybody guiding them. I mean, and they have to go through so much more now with the kind of world we live in. So
they have the filter so much more because they have the internet, they have the smartphone. There's so much more from the filter action. They have the filter so much more, and they're still trying to learn how to live. And you said to them filter, how they don't like filter what?
Filter what? They're just kind of like ticking in, and they haven't kind of defined themselves. It's just too much coming at them, and I just want the young people to be mindful. Protect your mind, and sometimes move away from the things that create a deep discomfort within you at the moment, and bring you into anger and resentment. Because one of the most liberating things for me in my life is my philosophy and my practice of letting go of anger, letting go of unforgiveness. If I find I'm becoming resentful to somebody, I deliberately make an attempt to forgive them, to pray for them, to let go of that tension, because it's affecting me.
Yeah, it will.
And it's already enough having to use the world. Why should I carry an added burden of holding a grudge against somebody? Sometimes they didn't even do what they did intentionally, and even if they did, it's better for me if I let go and I learn the lesson of either keeping my distance or whatever the lesson is, try to learn it, but don't hold a grudge against the person. Pray for the person, wish well for the person, learn the lesson and move on. Because if you don't do that, it's you up inside.
I remember Yellow Son said something else, when she said, "Let go and let God."
Right.
Let go and let God. It's like, And then sometimes it's difficult to let go because you get your teeth into it and you just like, and then like you said, let go for what? Why should I let go? They did it first, and then all of a sudden like. I said, what did it do first? And then you forgot what it did first.
Exactly.
You were so into, you forgot what initially started it. You forgot all about all it now. You just start. And it's like, so what did that person do to you? Well, don't worry about that. No, I want to know what that person did to you, because you're telling me you're on this path and you're doing this because someone did something to you. What did that person do to you? And I had an elder tell me some years ago. He said, no, give the rocking chair test. He said, the rocking chair. The rocking chair test. He said, go 50 years into the future and here you are on your rocking chair on your porch, rocking back and forth. If what's affecting you now is not going to be affecting you 50 years from now, don't worry about it now. That's what he said that to me. He said, rocking chair. I said, but elder, he said, no. If it's not going to affect you 50 years from now, don't let it affect you now.
Right.
Because it's just going to mess your health up and everything, so you might not get to the rocking chair.
Right.
So he said, if it's not going to affect you, someone says something that's bothering you, just let it go. If it's not going to affect you 50 years from now, just let it go. But I said, elder, he said, he looked at me, I'm trying to...
He's right. I know.
I'm not an elder, but...
You're resistant,
And after a while, I said, you know what? He's right. And I tried it. I was like, you know what? You can talk all you want about me right now, but in 50 years, maybe in 5 months, I don't remember you. So I was like, that elder knew what he was talking about.
Right.
And so as we moved in that light, it's like, really, because, like, wow. And I look at the people who came and told me I couldn't do this. I said, hey, you got a good job, you work in the aerospace business, you got your degree in this. Why you want to do that? Well, it's like, but this is what I like. This is my passion. And then, And now, they say, hey, you're so lucky. And I always tell people, I said, if your definition of luck, my definition of luck is preparation meets opportunity.
Right.
See, God prepared me, and the opportunity God put in front of me, I'm using it. So I said, if that's your definition of luck, then yes, I'm lucky. Preparation meets opportunity. But if your definition of luck is something that's dropped on me, then no, I'm not like that. I believe in God, I keep God first. So that's where I come from with the luck. So, I'm listening to you talking about this, and it's so important because lots of times people will see you walk on stage with guitar and say, oh man, she looks so good, look at her dress, look at this.
Right.
But Lord, you don't know what she had to do to get like that on that stage.
Exactly.
They don't know you just had 2 hours of sleep. You left your job, had 2 hours of sleep. You had to run and get your dress. You had to run, and now you just walk on the stage and like,
Yeah, and,
you know, like,
and a lot of other things in between.
same.
You know, it's a challenge, and I think I would just like to encourage, especially the young people, to see everybody that they see around them as human beings. We all have a similar struggle, and whether the person is on TV or the person has a voice or the person seems to be driving or whatever it is that you figure is they've made it, they haven't made it. You know, they still have struggles, and you probably might even be in a better position than them in certain things. So, you know, don't put yourself down because somebody seems to be quote unquote higher than you. I am not higher than you, and neither is whomever else that you're probably looking up to. Just respect people for what they achieve, but don't think that they're higher than you.
Yeah, and this guy had this beautiful car, man. I knew this guy back and he's in Brooklyn. And I said, man, this guy, he always had this really fly clothes, nice car, and all this stuff. And I was like, man, I want to be like, yo, dude, like, yeah, man, this dude's hooked. He got it all together. Come to find a homeboy was living with his mom, and his mom was paying all his bills.
Imagine that.
I'm like, wait a minute. He lives with his mom, and his mother's paying all his bills. And he's up here, I'm like, really?
And it's just,
I'm like, okay, and that's, I always remember that. You know, it's like, I always remember that. I'm like, you know what? So now I see people with stuff. I say, you don't know how they got that.
That's right.
You don't know how they got it.
That's right.
You don't know who it belongs to. Might not even be theirs.
I can't remember what changed my perception, but something similar happened to me, and then now when I see people with things, I say, I don't know where they got that from. I don't know if that's even theirs.
Exactly.
And I don't know, because so many people are in debt. I mean, somebody who's you know, in the banking system, people come, and the people who have the flyers vehicles are literally scrunching for money, and I mean, life is not as good as it seems for them. And so I have become very, that's a word, unperturbed by material things. I am starting to see quality in people who actually would give of themselves, their time and their energy for things, because I know, to me, that takes much more than just putting out money.
I didn't tell her to say that. Quality, I would say quality. I go for quality, not quantity.
Right.
I didn't tell her to say, you heard her say, I did not say that.
That's what I'm trying to get into now, because I know how challenging it is for me sometimes to get things done sometimes.
Yeah.
If I am going to get it done for somebody, I know how much effort sometimes it has taken, how much energy that I had to put out, how many other things that I had to put off to get it done. So I value when other persons do that for me, or they take the time to even speak or encourage me, and I value when I do it for other people, because no amount of money could be more valuable sometimes than a conversation with somebody, or the fact that somebody was there with you to hold your hands, waiting for a doctor, or whatever it is, or the person thought of you, and the person is calling you up and telling you why they thought of you, what was happening. These are the things that are more important than the image. A lot of us are busy putting up a front, and it takes much more energy to put up a front than showing up for somebody that you love, or even spending time with your creator or with yourself to find out what you want to do with your life. And I really value my personal time.
Me too. I always tell people, I said, the most important thing I have is time. But if I give you 5 minutes of that time, I can never get that back.
Right.
You know, I give you $5, I get $5 back.
Exactly.
I can go back and make
Thank
$5.
you.
But I cannot get that time back.
Thank you. I'm happy you said that, and I actually had a conversation recently. I had to tell somebody, listen, not somebody, I'm speaking about the situation. I'm like, listen, no amount of money can pay me for my time.
Nope.
Like, I do it because, okay, I love it and I'm getting some financial benefit, yes.
Yeah.
But my time is worth so much more to me than $1 million.
Yeah.
My time doing what I have decided to do with it, whether it be to watch the stars, whether it be to sleep, whether it be to write a song, whether it be to, it's my personal time. And I think you know what I'm talking about.
No, I mean,
amount of money. So that's why regard is so important to me. That's why I would I would tell you I had a lot of challenges. I'm trying to make it for the show. And I'm happy that I was present for the show.
We're happy you were there.
For the Grandmaster K show, and I want to thank my partner too for helping me ensure that I was there too, because at the end of the day I felt a level of regard and respect from you and Dr. Walls, you know, in terms of the way you guys dealt with me.
Well, you
understand?
No, because you know what, like I said, I respect people's time. The GMK is a showcase, and I tell people, I told some people, I said, the artists are not getting paid immediately for that, but I'm respecting what they're doing, and because they make that investment in us, I'm taking that and I'm using that to send out to people I know who are looking for work, who are looking for artists and looking for stuff. So even though I paid you $1,000, I'm putting so much more into it that I can't even put a value on it, because there's people in the U.S. I know. I'm sending them the work now. I say, I got the video. Look at the sister do this. Look at the sister do that. And they might hire you for something else.
You never know.
You never know. But the whole point is now we're in the game, and that's why the time is so valuable to me. Like, you know, people say, "Oh, you're so lucky. Are you going to move from here? You're going to go somewhere bigger?" I said, it's not about going somewhere bigger. It's about keeping the quality, because you know. It's so important that you respect people's time, because, like you said, there's no money that could buy my time, because once I give you that time, I will never get it back. And we gotta remember. I always remember that, like, you know, wow.
I have to keep that in mind, because sometimes I tend to be late, so I'm like,
no,
I have to keep that in mind.
No, I always remember that. That's why, you know, and that's why I get like a stickler on time. Like when we were on the beach there, so I said, okay, I know what time you're coming, so we're going to got something. That's okay. And I'm like, okay, she's coming soon, because I'm like, I have to respect. If I want people to respect my time, I must spiritually put it out there that I respect their time.
That's true. That's true.
Because whatever you put into your universe, the universe, my spiritual grandmaster, who was my spiritual father, always reminded me that the balance in the universe is whatever you put out into the universe comes back at you.
Right.
And I always think about that as I move. It's like, you know, like, okay, we're gonna be at this time. Let's be at this time, because that person's time. Even when you go to a lawyer's office, the lawyer said they'll have you from 2 to 3. If you get at 2:15, they say you already used 15 minutes of your time. If you go until 3:15, they're gonna charge you for that 15 minutes. But it's like their time.
Right, because they're waiting for you.
And like, you know, like, really, I'm like, yeah, they don't play.
They don't play.
So you have to be on point with your time. The same respect you give people, you know, for you ask me, you gotta do that for yourself. You gotta do that for you. And that's why when it's kind of funny, someone was laughing and said, you started on time, 8 o'clock. I said, yeah, why? He said, things never get started in St. Lucia on time. I said, you gotta understand, I respect people's time. They had, the doors open at 7 o'clock. At 6:20, the parents is already coming with the kids. The doors weren't open yet. Those parents came from all over the island and brought their kids. We had 35 kids there doing string instruments. And those parents were there. They took up all the seats. We had to look for more chairs. And it's like, wow. And it made me say to myself, these parents have an investment in their children. So next year, but in September when we come back, we're going to do something more with the children. Because these parents, I mean, it really touched my heart to see those parents just take up all our chairs. They took up all the chairs.
And they were there with them.
And they were there with them, and said, you know, it was very touching, because, you know, sometimes people say, oh, parents don't care about the kids no more. But Thursday night, those parents took over the GMK.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, wow, it's like, really? And it's just like to see that, it just lets you know that we are doing something positive. I'm not talking about GMK, I'm talking we as a people are doing something positive. That's why when I hear your music, I'm like, I was telling AJ, sometimes I'm in my office and I put his song on because it really inspired me. Like, it's your song, I'm beautiful. I'm like, I love that song. I'm like, and like sometimes I'll be talking to some of the women I know. They be talking. I say, listen, let me email this link. What's your email address? So I say, hey, I want to email you a link. Watch this video and listen to the words. And they said, what is that? I said, listen, watch the video and listen to the words. And I had someone call me back and say, hey, that's a real nice song. I said, yeah, she's a Lucian.
I like that.
No, I told him, I said, wow, this is
Lucian from super.
it's a Lucian from super. Because, you know, it's like, there's so much things happening. Sometimes we forget that we are beautiful, we are blessed, we are kissed by the sun. You know, it's just like, wow, you know, because we look at the perception that the media give us. Like, if you're not 6 feet and you're not this and that. That's, I had one time I tell this young lady, I was in fact, I said, do you know how much airbrushing to do those pictures before you get the picture? those people can't even look like that. Those are the people in the picture. I said, yeah. I said, you should see the before and after of these people. Before they get into the makeup chair, and after they get in the makeup chair, it's totally two different people. So don't. And a lot of these
Don't try to be like
Don't
that.
try to be something like even the people. It's not real. It's a perception that they're selling you, so you can buy products and you can try and look like that. And I'm like. And so when I see you, talking about 5'1", kissed by the sun, pop belly, and I like that. I like that. So, and if you haven't seen this video, we're gonna put the video into this show so you can see it. And she has another song called Breeze. I want to have her talk about that song because I like that. I know Dr. Walls loves that song. She's like, she's always using her stuff, like. So, and I think she even wrote a whole program around your song.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
What's
because-
the I'm beautiful, right? Yes, she told me.
Yeah,
So,
and that's because she's.
And I use her book at work
See that?
with the clients.
Yeah, you see, and that's very important.
Greatest-
Yeah,
greatest
greatest soldier. Yeah, I mean, she just. We got so much. I mean, I think we got to stop looking to other people to do it for us, and we can do it. We can do it. So when we come back, we're gonna talk again. We're gonna talk about that song "Breathe" because the video is really awesome. I was just using some of the video for something I was doing the other day. I was like, I put her name in it. Yes, I give her credit. I give all my artists credit. I use their work. Okay. So we're gonna come back. We're gonna talk to. She's gonna give her contact information. So get your pen and paper out. You need to support her. I know we talk about the stuff we don't like. This is something you should definitely. This is the person you have to support her and what she's doing. And I say it openly, I say it publicly. The Umoja Communications House of Umoja support her 1,000%. Because if she has the guts and the gumption to go out there and put the music out that she's putting out, then we definitely are going to support her in everything she does because it's very important that we understand people like this sister needs our support in everything she does. So you watch her, listen to the words, and I guarantee you, if you have a daughter or a niece in your house, you don't want them to listen to her song and watch her do her stuff. So we'll be right back in a minute, close to the last segment of the Harambe Table, live from Rodney Bay in St. Lucia, at Blue St. Lucia Hotel. It's your sister Nguzi? Sister Nguzi. Yeah, stay, we'll be right back.
You were that breeze, vibrating like the wind, surrounding my soul in spiral spins. You were that breeze, that energy divine, letting us know that everything is fine. Now, you help me keep on growing. You keep me.
Well, so far, I think we had it was very productive. It was one I could see my first experience with this type of audio shooting. And the persons who are here are beautiful spirits, and the ideas and concepts that came up, the videographer, Liz, and his patience and genius, everything is done quite nice. like what the type of love that exists in the divine and lives in us. And when I wrote the song, initially it was inspired by a friend whom I saw that kind of loving spirit living in. And I felt that the communication of that love was just like the breeze, because it doesn't hit you smack in the face like a storm, but it is always there around you, supporting you, giving you that sense of relief, and in giving you that sense of aliveness, but without being too harsh. So hence the reason why I chose My Breeze. So in the video, I hope through nature itself, which is an expression of that same breeze, expression of the divine love, would show itself.
So much more. Yeah.
My energy boost was a breeze.
Oh, the breeze. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh.
That's all I came here doing a hike, and when we were walking, we were like, oh my god, my breeze. It was like so amazing how we were just walking and hiking, and when we got to this area here, approaching the door, we were like, yeah, this would be a wonderful spot for My Breeze. And that's just how it happened. So you know how I feel about it. Neither sometimes things don't work out so that it can be the right time. So today, had to be the day for us to go out for the shoot. And although it rained a lot last night, the weather is just absolutely wonderful right now. We got a little shower. Spiral spins. You were that breeze, that energy divine, letting us know that everything is fine. Now, you help me keep on growing. You keep me always.
We are back for our last segment in the Harambe Table System. I just like talking to her, Naeem Grandison. I mean, I truly love. We're going to talk about this song Breeze, and we're going to put some videos into this show. She's going to give you her contact information. You don't have to come to St. Lucia to talk to us. You can email her. If you're a promoter and you're looking for someone who's a positive message, she does fly. She has a passport, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So you can bring her in. I encourage we at Umoja Communication encourage you to reach out to young sisters like who are doing positive things, and bring them in. Let other young people hear them. And so let's talk about Breeze, and then we're gonna give you a contact. So, but the song Breeze, what was the inspiration behind it? I saw the video, wonderful video, but the song, the words are so touching, so personal.
Wow, my breeze. Interestingly enough, it's like a spiritual song in a sense, and it was inspired by a close friend of mine. At the time we were close and just strictly friends, and he was just so supportive and loving. And I took some time. His birthday was coming up, and strangely enough, his girlfriend asked me to write something, and I'd written him a poem, and I took some time to just reflect on his example in my life, and I went back to other persons, and I thought about the God within all these people.
Wow.
And I felt like God kind of like the divine spirit kind of existed in these types of friends in my life, who had sort of like been that kind of breeze that gave me that nudge, but in such a gentle way, that was there with me and encouraged me, and almost like the little representations of God around me living. And he at the time was exemplifying that, and that situation brought me back into other persons in my life. And I kind of meditated on God. So it's like interestingly a journey from a friend into back to God. And
I know what you're thinking. Let me go back and watch the video again.
Yes, so I see the divine spirit almost like the breeze everywhere around us, in us, out of us, surrounding us.
So you'll make me look at the video again. I want to look at it totally different now. I mean, I love the video. I'm like, I look at it. I have it upstairs on my computer. I'm like, there's certain things that touches me. Like I saw Asia, his song, and your songs and stuff. Like, there's a few songs, like a couple of Marvin Gaye songs. There's songs that ain't no stopping but my fact, Whitehead out of Philadelphia. There's a few songs that when things get challenging in my life, I listen to.
Okay.
And then remember, like there's one movie I love watching. Like when I think I can't do no more, I get tired of it. The movie's Cry Freedom, which Denzel Washington plays Stephen Biko.
Okay.
And to see what this man went through in South Africa, where his people lost his life from him, I was like, wow. And Denzel did such a great job in this movie. And I was just watched the movie, and before that, I kind of knew very little about Stephen Biko, but that movie made me look into more who he was and what he stood for. And so sometimes I get down on myself, like, and I just think about the movie. I'll go get it and I'll put it on. I'll put parts of it on, and it's like, the part when he's talking to the police officer when they take him in, last minute they arrested him and stuff, and they're talking to him and they're beating him up, and it just makes you stop and think, like, where do you stand?
Right.
What do you stand for? Are you willing to lose your life for what you stand for?
Right.
It's not about money now. It's about principle. Are you willing to stand for those who cannot? Are you willing to be the voice of the voiceless? Are you willing to stand there for that child who needs someone to protect them? Are you willing to stand and move forward when the person can't move anymore? Are you willing to do that for your people? Are you willing to just do that? And so, Cry Freedom, which reminds me of all that stuff. I'm watching Stephen Biko, and like your song, I'm beautiful. It's like, you hear so many people say, "Oh, you're not beautiful. You don't look like her." Well, I don't need to look like. I'm touched by the sun. I'm 5'1", and I like this song is just like, you listen to that stuff and it's like, wow. It just makes you. It reminds you who is defining you.
Right.
Who is defining you?
Right.
If it's not you,
you took it from that angle, because this is what I really wanted to bring across. What is beauty? You are beauty. Yeah. And this is the vessel, and that which has been given to me is beautiful, and I need to care for it, and I need to take care of it, and I need to appreciate it, and whatever it is that's awkward about you, you're still beautiful.
You're still beautiful.
You're still beautiful in your own way, and don't mind that certain people don't have the eye or the hindsight or the vision or the wisdom to see your beauty.
They'll catch you sooner or later. They'll catch you sooner or later.
Yeah, and what's important is for you to see it, because I have this firm belief that nobody is ugly. This is my principle.
Yeah.
And I believe that everybody has different features, some that are more appealing to me than others.
Exactly.
But I don't believe people are ugly. And that's me. And
No, that's good.
and I mean, I wouldn't down anybody for saying, "Oh, that's ugly." That's them. I'm cool.
Yeah, say, hey, that's
but that's
appeal
just
to me.
my
Yeah.
that's just my principle in terms of the way I see people. I could laugh about a lot of things, but within me personally, my principle is that everybody is made of beauty, and they are unique expressions of that, and that's the end of the story.
I'm laughing. Last year we were here for the film festival and we were on the boat. And we have it on video, and we're talking about musicians in St. Lucia. And the guy said, someone said, "Oh, there's the Lucians. There's no good musicians. The musicians here in St. Lucia." And Lord, who told him to say that with her on the boat? Boy, all of a sudden 5 feet one was like 5'10" or 10 feet 5. And man, she laid into them. No, don't say that. Blah, blah, blah. And she just got so passionate about it. And she did it in such a nice way. You know, it was a nice spanking, and she did it in a very respectful way. And the person just had to pull back. The person said, "Okay," you know. So I'm listening to her talk, and that's very true. You know, if you let someone define you, then you might not find yourself ever, because they're going to define for what they want. And
Right.
thing. So, and you know, I jokingly said, but seriously, if you are a promoter, or you're organizing something, especially for young women, and especially for young women of color, you need to bring her in to sing and talk to the kids, talk to the young people. She does that, and she flies anywhere in the world. So I want to have her give her contact information out, and you need to reach out to her, watch the videos. If you just want to drop her an email, let her know, support her, because encouragement is very important for young people, especially for her. What she's doing is not so-called the norm. So I need you to support her in where you can. Okay, so give your contact information.
Sure, I do have a website, so this is the first place to start would be www.naomigrandison, so that's naomigrandison.com. You could also Google me, Naomi Grandison, and you could email me either at nginspirations@gmail or naomigrandison@gmail.com. The same spelling, naomigrandison@gmail.com. Or you could just pretty much click on the contacts on my website and link me up there. I have a YouTube channel also, Naomi Grandison, Naomi Ngozi Grandison, also NG Inspirations, whichever one you want to get on. So just remember the spelling of Naomi Grandison, which is NaomiGrandison, and you'll be able to get me, contact me, hit me up with an email. Just put gmail.com after that, .com, YouTube, Instagram, Naomi Ngozi Grandison, NGOZI for the Ngozi. Yeah.
And you're gonna do yourself a great favor, yourself a great blessing, listen to her music. I'm not saying that because I know her. I'm saying that because it's true. And you know, if you want to meet her in person and you want to come to St. Lucia, she don't perform in September with us. You don't pull her back out there again in September. I just want people to know that we have made a commitment in Sisters in Harmony in Umoja, in House of Umoja, to promoting positive things in our community on a global scale, and she's one of the pieces. And you're watching the videos, you know I'm telling the truth. To you mothers who are trying to give your children, your daughters something good, fathers, you know what dad's about. I don't have a biological daughter, I have spiritual daughters. You want them to see someone positive. This is a sister you need to check her stuff out, and she's easy to reach. She's here in St. Lucia and she travels. I'm proud to know her. She makes my life better, and I'm not saying it because I say it all the time on the radio. People who know me on the radio hear me talk about her all the time, because that's who I am. So check her out. We want to thank you for coming to the Harambe table today. And those who don't know, Harambe is a key Swahili word. It means let us all pull together. We say it at the end of Kwanzaa every year. And so this table is the Harambe table. We thank you for spending some time with us today. We are live here in St. Lucia at the Rodney Bay at the Blue St. Lucia Hotel, which is our host hotel for the PIF, for Pretoria International Film, and the Grand Mexican Poetry Lounge. Thank you for listening and spending some time with us today. God bless, and we will see you on the other side.
Blessings to you. Have a wonderful day.
All right. I love it.
That's lovely.
beauty.